Welcome to Chromebook. Today I'm talking about this. This is the HP X360 i3 8GB of RAM model. Now, I've been using this Chromebook for about a month and a half consistently, and I have a few thoughts on it. Let's start with the good. So the build quality is very nice, I think. This is the main reason that I went to this device. I saw it in Best Buy. Aside all of the other Chromebooks there on display, this one stood out the most. It had the most unique design. It has a two-tone, white and light gold, and it also comes in a white and kind of a navy blue base as well. I went with the light gold model. It just kind of has a more of a premium feel to me. And then of course the HP logo has a mirror finish on it, which is nice. It just kind of makes you feel like you're using more of a high-end device instead of just a cheap Chromebook. Now, this is a 2-in-1. It allows you to flip over completely into a tablet mode to utilize Android apps that are now being incorporated into Chrome OS. And when you open it up, you can see you have your speaker grill right above your keyboard, and the keys are backlit with a nice large touchpad. So there is no divider between left and right clicks. It's pretty standard, I think. You can either double tap or actually click in on the keyboard, or the trackpad rather. And I have to say, there's no real complaints as far as the keyboard goes or the trackpad. The trackpad is responsive. It feels good. The keys feel nice. They're not too clicky. They're not too loud. They're not just kind of mushy. They're kind of right in the Goldilocks zone, really. Now, of course, these speakers are being branded as B&O, and I don't really know what to say about that. They're fine speakers. Compared to other Chromebooks, though, I had to say these are probably a step above most Chromebooks. I've listened to a lot of speakers on a lot of Chromebooks, and I've always just kind of been disappointed with them. These I'm perfectly happy with. They're not going to blow you out of the water, but they're not going to disappoint you either. So, you're also going to find two USB-C ports, one on the left and one on the right. You can charge from either side, which is nice. That's something that I really enjoy. I hate having to either stretch your charger cord out or maybe run it behind the lid or whatever. It's just a nice feature. It's a nice touch. And then of course you have your headphone jack if you're still using those. It's there for you, the power button, and the SD card slot reader for your extra media or storage. Then on the right side you're going to find the other USB-C port, a USB port, and your volume rocker. Now, I have no real issue with anything as far as the build goes aside from this white lid. As much as I love it, I also kind of hate it because I'm always finding myself paranoid that I'm going to get it dirty. And even just doing this review, I'm starting to see little smudges, little black smudges here and there that it's picking up just for me handling for the review. It does come clean very easily, but just always being paranoid that you're going to get it dirty is kind of a downer. Now, the screen size to this Chromebook is very nice. It's not too small, it's not too large. It's, again, I guess that's the best way to describe this Chromebooks, is the Goldilocks of the Chromebooks. And ironically, it is kind of gold. So, anyway, you got this nice large screen. Makes it great for multitasking, doing split screen, having simultaneous tabs open in your Chrome browser. Maybe you are running Linux and you got your command prompt. You got, something that I've personally done is enabling Linux on this device. I have your command prompt window over here, and you still got plenty of real estate to do other things. So I have YouTube going while I'm trying to install some Linux apps. That way you can do tutorials on Linux, which I had to do because I'm not too familiar with it. Now, one thing about the keyboard is that it is backlit, so that is a nice touch. And overall, I have to say this is a pretty nice Chromebook. Now that we have got the positives out of the way, here are some of the negative things I have to say about it. I talked about the white lid already and how it gets dirty. It's not really that big of a deal, but it is something that I always think about, and it stood out to me as kind of a negative thing. Secondly, this does feel very premium, and because it does feel like an aluminum base, the edges are kind of sharp. So whenever you have it in tablet mode, you definitely feel the edge. It's kind of uncomfortable to hold in one hand, and when you sit it down on a surface in tablet mode, that edge makes me think that I'm going to scratch the surface of whatever I lay it on. I have yet to actually scratch the surface of anything, but it always paranoids me whenever I lay it down that I'm going to scratch the surface, and that's just something that kind of stood out to me. One of my biggest complaints about this tablet is the lack of stylus support. Maybe it's not something that a lot of people care about, but if you're wondering, this device is terrible when it comes to stylus support. I have tried the bamboo tip stylus from Wacom, and it's supposed to be one of the best stylus that you can buy, and I was very disappointed. This thing sucks when it comes to recognizing stylus. Actually, I've also tried the cheaper, just kind of almost like a knockoff brand off Amazon stylus, and it worked better than the bamboo tip, but still it was a terrible experience. You're getting a lot of lag input. You're getting a lot of broken lines. You cannot make a straight line to save your life on this device. It is one of my biggest complaints about this device is the stylus. I personally wanted a stylus to help me do video edits, some animations or drawing, logo design, that type of thing, and I had high hopes, and I never even thought that it wouldn't work. It's such a nice device. I thought it has to support stylus very well, and it does not. So if you're getting this device hoping that it will support a stylus, or if you have plans to use a stylus in any way whatsoever, do not get this device if that's something that you rely on heavily. Even something as just making a selection on the screen with a stylus is very difficult and cumbersome. You're going to be disappointed. And it's not just my device. I actually have another one of these, same exact model, and have the same results with it as well. So it's not a defect with this device. I'm assuming it's across all of them, being as my second one also has the same issues. So by now you may be wondering, does this device have a webcam, and why haven't I talked about the webcam? Well, that's just simply because it's not worth talking about. You do have a webcam here on the top of the screen, right in the dead center, and I think on either side is your microphones. Terrible webcam. I know generally webcams have terrible quality, and this is no exception. It sucks. I'll never use it. I can't imagine that anybody would use it for really anything, but it's there if you do want it. Thought I would just at least mention it, but put it under my negative category because it's quite terrible, and it's really not worth even having on there. And from my pros category, I talked about how much I liked the large screen. That is true. I do like having the large screen. However, I thought having a large screen tablet device would be ideal. In my mind, when I bought this device, I was thinking about holding it like this, drawing on it, and having plenty of real estate to work with. What I found was, actually, having such a large device is kind of a negative. It weighs a lot. You get tired of holding it. You can't really do much with one hand, which I never really thought that you would be able to. And then, of course, you feel the keys on the back when you're holding it in tablet mode. And then, on top of that, with all this screen real estate, you're just putting your fingerprints all over it. But the screen real estate is nice, but having it for a tablet is not ideal, honestly. It's a nice feature that they decided to go with the 2-in-1, but not having that stylus support is kind of lame, really. I mean, what's the point in having it in tablet mode with such a large screen if you can't use a stylus with it? And I'm not saying that you can't use a stylus. It recognizes the stylus, but it's such a terrible experience that really you can't use it. So,
well, sorry for that abrupt stop, but some of my footage got deleted by accident, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to insert a clip of the 720p webcam that's on this Chromebook. Now, You can kind of hear the audio quality and what it's like. There's not any kind of background noise going on here. And one of the terrible things about this camera is you can see how washed out and blown out these whites are behind me. I have white curtains here and there are no detail whatsoever in them. And then if you look on this side, how dark everything is, and the room I'm in is not as badly lit as the camera makes it seem. So you can see for yourself. You can be the judge, I guess, but I think it is terrible. Almost all these devices have terrible webcams, and this is no exception. So I wanted to also include some gameplay footage so you can see the performance of the gameplay. I'm playing Asphalt 9 as an example here. Didn't really notice much of any lag or anything like that. I've also been playing the classic Sonic games on here with no hiccups or anything. Gaming is something that I don't really do a lot of, so it's not a huge deal to me. It's not something that I specifically look for. And I can also say that I'm editing this video on this Chromebook, and that I've edited other videos on this Chromebook as well, and performance has not really been a problem. It's handled 20-minute video, HD video with no problems, so I'm happy with that. And anyway, yeah, it's been a good experience overall. I have to say, for the price of this Chromebook, it's a great value, really. I can't be too upset with some of the negatives that I found with it, being as I got it for such a good deal. I think normally this runs close to $600, and I picked it up for about $370 on Black Friday, and I've been using it ever since. And overall, I'm happy with it, but due to the lack or the negative Stylus experience, I will be trying to find something else. And when I make that decision, I will do another video. Thanks for watching, though, and go ahead and give this a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And if you have any questions about this Chromebook or any other capabilities on a Chromebook, go ahead and leave them down below, and I will get back to you. So, see ya.